A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight on the show, we'll be focusing on storytelling in the digital age, building a global brand, and the future of content. My guest tonight is someone who absolutely needs no introduction. He's a renowned digital influencer and an absolute Gen Z favorite. He's launching his first marketing agency, 1000 Media, in India, marking the beginning of a global expansion. In conversation tonight with Nussair Yassin, founder Nas Daily and 1000 Media. He'll be speaking to us about his journey from being a content creator to an entrepreneur, opportunities in India, and the vision behind 1000 Media. Nussair, welcome to ET Now, Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So to begin with, Nussair, your 1-minute videos completely changed the way people consume content. What's the biggest lesson you've learned about storytelling in such a short format?
The biggest lesson I learned about storytelling is that it's like a muscle. You have to do it 1,000 times in order to get good at it. You have to get used to telling 1,000 stories until you tell one good story. We're not born as storytellers. We have to learn how to become one.
So if you were starting Nas Daily today in 2025, how do you think your approach to content would be different?
You know, funny enough, nothing would change. I would literally do the exact same thing that I did if I was starting today, because humans still want stories from around the world. I would just maybe adopt a different platform. 8 years ago, I adopted Facebook. Maybe today I would adopt TikTok or LinkedIn or X or Instagram. It would be one of those.
So you've transitioned from being a content creator to building a business. What made you take that leap?
It's fun to build a business. I think every creator is a business.
Sure.
I was already a business. Every content creator is secretly a business, and every business should be a content creator. So that's why I think both worlds need to sort of switch places all the time. Businesses need to create a lot more content.
All right. So on that note, tell us about 1000 Media. What's the vision behind it? And what kind of opportunities do you see in India?
Yeah, so we're launching a whole new agency for the first time in 6 years, and we're actually doing it in India. We see big opportunities to tell the India story to the rest of the world. I think now is the time for every business, every government agency, every nonprofit, every brand, every startup to create more content and tell this story to the rest of the world. This is a once in a decade opportunity, because I think 2025 is the year of social media content.
Great. And how exactly do you see 1000 Media transforming brand storytelling? What's the big goal?
You know, we have the same team that built Nas Daily is now trying to build other companies and build them their own Nas Daily. My vision for 1000 Media is to take any single person with an idea and then turn it into a brand. You know, by creating 1,000 pieces of content about their idea and their product to build a brand that is global on social media. That's the vision, is empower anybody in India to build their own Nas Daily. And that's very exciting.
Really, do you think it is possible to have another Nas Daily?
I think you could have another 10,000 or 100,000 Nas Dailies. What is Nas Daily? Nas Daily is short educational content. It's not my face. It's not my voice. It's not nothing about me. It's short, educational, fun content. And the world needs a lot more of that.
Right. So with 1000 Media expanding into India, what kind of jobs or opportunities are you aiming to create here?
Yeah, look, we go way back with India, and we've already hired a lot of people from India, and we will continue to do that. So we're looking for creative jobs, business development jobs, artists, creators with 10,000 followers and above. India has a lot of them. And so we'd work with some of the most creative people in India to be able to help our clients create content. So, we're expanding, and if anybody's interested, they should look at our jobs page at 1000 Media to join us.
Now, our show is watched by a lot of small business owners, young entrepreneurs, startup founders. And in my conversations with them, I've realized that marketing can be a real challenge for small businesses. What are some practical tips they can, use to grow their brand?
Yeah. Number one, if there's a small business listening to this, you need to get a face because people love people. You need to get a face for your company, for your product. You need to get a host, somebody to represent you. And then number two is you need to make 1,000 pieces of content, not just one, not just two. You need to try with 1,000 pieces of content. And that's the point of 1000 Media. So tip one, find a face. Tip two, make 1,000 pieces of content. And tip three, instead of being salesy, try being educational. Educate the world about your product, what you're building, your ideas, and your vision.
And our show is also about empowering entrepreneurs for the global stage. What's your advice for founders who want to take their business from local to global, just like you have done for yourself?
I think the future is not just in India, the future is also global. That's why I suggest, if you want to go global, to have sort of to speak. Like if you want to go to America, get American creators, American hosts with an American accent. If you want to go local, get an Indian creator with an Indian accent. So depending on the market you want to go in, you want to tailor your content to that market. But, I think there's enough opportunities inside India, but there's also incredible opportunities outside India too.
So Nasser, it's a famous story that you left a high-paying job at PayPal to chase your dreams, with Nas Daily. Looking back, did you ever have doubts? What would you say to entrepreneurs who are scared to take that leap?
For anybody that's scared of taking the leap, I would say think about where the world is going in the next 10 years and start today. Because it'll take 10 years until your imagination becomes a reality. So I started Nas Daily 8-9 years ago. And that was, the vision is that social media is going to be big. And now it's big, finally. But it takes 8-9 years to do that. So my advice is have patience. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
So what do you think is the next big thing in storytelling and content creation?
So, 1000 Media is betting big on X as a platform and LinkedIn as a platform. So really it's LinkedIn and X where I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for like good content that can reach influential people, especially if you're a B2B company.
Sure.
You kind of want to double down on these two platforms. If you're a consumer facing company, then for sure nothing beats Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. They're the best.
Fantastic. Now in today's world, leadership looks very different. How do you define a great leader?
I think a great leader is somebody who has the courage to be disliked. And it's somebody that's willing to go against the grain, willing to go against resistance in order to achieve what they want, even if it means somebody dislikes them. I think most humans want to be liked. They want to be loved. They want to be cared for. They want to be heard. They want to be seen.
All right.
But I think leaders want that, but they're also willing to sacrifice that in order to achieve the goal. So have the courage to be disliked is a hallmark of a great leader, I think.
Fantastic. Now, speaking of social media platforms are constantly evolving. How do you stay ahead of trends and ensure your content remains relevant?
It's hard to stay relevant for years. I think everybody at some point is going to become irrelevant, including us. I think, there's so many companies that were relevant before and now they're not relevant. I think if you want to try to stay relevant for years, my suggestion is to build a product that is infrastructure based, like a highway. A highway is relevant for many, many years because you always need a highway. You always need a building. That's infrastructure. But if you build something very, very consumer facing, I think sometimes consumers' taste changes every 2 years, every 3 years. So one year you're hot, the next year you're not. So I would go deep level infrastructure. That's how you can be useful for many, many years.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12, catching up tonight with Nussair Yassin, founder, Nas Daily and 1000 Media. So what's your take on founders having a personal brand? Is it necessary for even founders to have a voice, a brand presence, or it's optional, they should just let their business do the talking?
Every founder, every leader needs their personal brand. You want to think of life as a currency. You have financial capital, which is money, but you also want to have social capital, which is social media.
Right.
And this is some of the work that 1000 Media does. It helps founders build social capital, helps them go viral on social media for the founder themselves. The reason why that's important is social capital opens up many doors for you, for you and for the company as well. It's a way to attract new talent. It's a way to attract capital. It's a way to get attention to your product. I think everybody needs social capital.
So Nussair, AI is also changing the way content is created and consumed. How do you see AI shaping the future of storytelling?
So one of the products of 1000 Media is a Go Viral with AI, which is essentially an AI-enabled product for people to build AI channels. It is finally possible to build AI channels, and this is why it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What used to take 15 hours to make now can be done in 4 hours. So AI is not doing everything for you. You still need humans, but it's really cutting down the cost of creating content by a factor of 10x. That's really exciting.
Great. So you have built a massive global community. What is the secret to fostering engagement and trust at such a large scale?
The answer to that will take 1 year. Trust and recognition and brand cannot be bought. They have to be earned. So that's why I made 1,000 videos in 1,000 days. That's how I built trust around the world. If you want to build trust, you have to do the same thing 1,000 times. That's the only way.
And if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice about starting Nas Daily, what would it be?
I'd be like, change nothing. It worked. So keep going. You're on the right track. So I wouldn't want to change much.
Many entrepreneurs and creators struggle with burnout. How do you maintain creativity and consistency without feeling overwhelmed?
Burnout is the person's responsibility. So it is your responsibility when you feel burnout to stop or take a rest or relax for a little bit. I guess I don't know why, but I have not really experienced burnout. But I also think sometimes burnout, it comes from when you're doing something you don't love. And so if you burn out a lot,
right,
perhaps maybe you're not really enjoying what you're doing.
Sure.
And so I think try to switch what you're doing to something you really love. That's how you avoid burnout.
Sure. And as an entrepreneur, founder, and content creator, how do you balance the business side with the creative side? Do you have to take difficult decisions that are more inclined towards serving the business side of things, keeping creativity at bay?
Yeah, that's really hard, but we've actually kind of moved. Now, Nas Daily, I'm not a creator anymore. I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm really building businesses like the 1000 Media. That's a business. So that's my focus. So it's less about content creation and more about entrepreneurship. That's kind of what I have moved my focus on.
So Nussair, your journey has inspired millions. But who or what inspires you to keep pushing boundaries?
It's a very good question. I'm inspired by entrepreneurs now. I'm inspired by people who build massive companies and change the world, right? all the CEOs of these big American tech companies, they're all very inspiring.
Sure.
There's in India, there's a lot of like business leaders who have transformed India. They're all very inspiring. So I would say I'm inspired by the biggest entrepreneurs in the world because they've really changed the world.
So if you could collaborate with any creator, entrepreneur, or leader in the world, who would that be?
It's a good question. A video with Elon Musk would not hurt.
Yes, Elon Musk is a great choice. We'll be waiting for it. And looking back, was there a moment in your career that completely, changed, or was like the pivotal point that changed your trajectory?
But I think, changed the trajectory of my life was when I immigrated. When I immigrated from Israel to the United States for college, I think that is the moment that there's a before and an after in my life. And I see a lot of people in India as well. They like to immigrate and move to become students somewhere else. I think normally these are the most important moments in most people's lives because, changing location is the best way to change your life.
Nasir, by way of advice to entrepreneurs and creators, how do you handle criticism and negativity, especially when you put yourself out there so publicly?
You cannot make a million friends without a few enemies. This is how the world works. There's no such thing as 100% love. If you want to be 100% loved, you should be a clown.
Sure.
Nobody hates a clown, right? But if you want to do something impactful and meaningful, you have to be disliked and you have to be hated. This is why I said the hallmark of a great leader is to be disliked. It's to be okay with the hate. You have to be okay with the hate and embrace it. It means you're actually changing something in the world. That's why people hate you, because at the end of the day, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And you don't want anybody to be indifferent about you.
And as we are wrapping up this interview, tell me, how do you see 1000 Media making an impact in India?
Our ultimate vision is to allow a startup in India, a multinational corporation in India, to grow their presence in India and around the world, to make them relevant on social media. That's the big idea, is to help you develop a voice and a brand for social media. We are not only are we servicing India customers, we're also hiring India talent. And, we believe that the future of India, the next 10 years of India, are going to be significantly better than the last 10 years of India.
And one last question before I let you go. If you had to distill your philosophy on life and success into one simple sentence, what would that be?
That's a good question. The one thing I learned from life and everything is don't dream big, dream long. You must be able to dream long. And if you continue to dream long enough, eventually your dream becomes big. But most people just dream short for 1 year, 2 years, 1 day, 3 months. Dream long when it comes to your fitness, when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to your work, when it comes to your startup. Dream long.
It was a pleasure chatting with you, Nasir. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you so much for highlighting this, and hopefully we can work together in the future.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.